Hi guys, welcome to this video, and I'm making this video especially for A-level students who found out that they haven't really done that well in their midterm exams for AS and A2 in their college, and they're struggling to get good marks in their essays. Now, as far as my experience is concerned and the data that we have, what we usually see is that students do want to score well. They do have this inner drive to sort of score well in the exams, and they do end up preparing for their midterms, although some of them, or maybe majority of them, start probably a month before their midterms, or the last moment studying, that is, but still they have that inner drive to sort of get good grades, but they don't really know how to direct those efforts and that energy that they have, or the drive that they have, in the right direction. And a lot of the reasons that we have found out that why are students struggling in getting good marks in economics A levels, which is one of the primary reasons why the thresholds are so low in A level economics as well. So guys, the primary reasons why students sort of struggle in getting good marks in their essays is lack of essay writing techniques and lack of answer structuring, because this is the most valuable skill an A level student must have. This is a skill that you guys must have. It's a must-have skill in order to nail economics essays, and it's a must-have skill in order to get good marks in essays. Because you see, post 2023, the entire system of examining A-level students have changed. The criteria has changed. The marks allocation based for assessment objectives have changed, and there's a lot of emphasis that is placed by examiners on answer writing style, on the sort of wordings that are used, on how to start your answer, how to analyze, how to conclude your answer, how to form a judgment paragraph. And so I feel that students are really lacking in this area. Although they are studying from whatever content and material they have, but they don't really know how to direct that learning into a structured answer, right? And I'll give you an example. For instance, students must be studying cross elasticity of demand and income elasticity of demand in their AS exams, but when the question comes that whether XCD is more important and relevant for businesses than YD, they may struggle that what are we supposed to write in that part, because textbooks will not cover this area, right? And questions like to what extent price elasticity of supply could be influenced by firms. Now, students would know that how and why and how could price elasticity of supply be influenced, but they will not know to what extent would it be influenced. I mean, they will lack content because books lack that content, notes lack that content, and that's where sort of my guidance comes in. And I have spent a lot of time, to be very honest, I've spent a lot of time in mastering how to write essays. This is actually my expertise, that is essay writing. Apart from just teaching economics content, my expertise lies in essay writing. Being an A-level examiner as well, I am telling you that the only reason why students are not getting good grades, or why the thresholds are so low, is because students are not able to write effective essays. And to be very honest guys, you do need a certain level of English proficiency in order to write good essays. You don't really need to be very good in English language, but at least you must be average, in the sense that you must know how to write a proper English expression. Otherwise, you will struggle in writing economics essays. And so, there are so many things. For instance, students might know the pros and cons of subsidies and taxes, but they may not know what is the best way to start an answer. For example, an average student would start an answer by defining what a subsidy is or a tax is in government intervention. But usually I tell my students to sort of, if the question is asking you how effective could taxes be in curing the problem of demerit goods, for questions where the examiner is usually identifying a problem to you guys and then asking you a tool, that how effective is this tool, instead of just defining that tool and the problem, first sort of emphasize on the fact that yes, this is a problem. So you could say that demerit goods, after defining demerit goods are more harmful than what people generally believe. They have negative externalities, that's fine. But then yes, do accept that it is a fundamental problem that is causing governments to intervene, and the market mechanism or the price mechanism is sort of failing in its process of efficiently allocating resources. And that's where we say that price mechanism sort of fails to allocate resources efficiently because market failure kicks in, right? And then which necessitates government intervention. And so you see, the words that I'm using right now, this is basically economic expression. That's how you need to execute the answer, instead of sort of just saying that government should intervene or government intervention is necessary. Another way of saying that market failure is actually that symptom that leads to or that necessitates government intervention, because market failure failure is mother of a lot of social inefficiencies or a lot of social problems in society, right? And then I also feel that students over the years have, lost that temperament and the taste and the appetite to sort of read from multiple books and, go to different websites and research and maybe Google things. And then they just want that, they just have a nice, handy notes in front of them and they just, read through it. Well, there's nothing wrong in it. But the problem is that, those notes will give you information. They'll give you diagrams, they'll give you some pros and cons of something, but those notes will never provide you or guide you how to execute that information in an answer. So guys, and basically what happens is that, students then either they have a very good instructor who is sort of guiding them on how to go about things, or if they don't, really have a good instructor who's sort of teaching them how to write answers, then they ultimately have to, run for, extra support help. And you see, what I'm trying to say is that even when, this is something that I would definitely recommend to teachers as well, that while checking the essays of students, instead of just grading them maybe 9 out of 12, you're supposed to give them a proper feedback that why did they end up with 8 on 12 or 9 on 12. So I'll tell you what we do in our courses. We give detailed feedbacks, right? And I mean, you can see on your screen as well that how detailed feedback we have given to this particular student from our courses. So such feedbacks definitely guide students on where they are wrong and where they did well and what are the areas that they need to sort of improve on, right? This is actually where real learning takes place, when you make errors in the exam, but then you're sort of you're guided that where you went wrong and this is what you need to do. This is where real learning takes place actually, because you learn from your mistakes as well. So guys, what we're trying to say is that you have like 4 to 5 months left, and this is a very crucial time, right? You have to make good use of this time. And what you need to do is that you need to identify the areas which you are lacking in microeconomics, because usually in colleges and in classes as well, macroeconomics would be starting in both AS and A2. So if your micro is not in control, then you will definitely struggle. So you need to identify those areas or those topics in microeconomics that you struggle a lot with. YouTube videos on it, Google it. If you feel that you need to join some course, then you're most welcome. You can join my courses as well. You can join any teacher's course that you find is worth joining. And if you feel that you do not need tuitions, then you can manage on your own, then great. I have a YouTube video as well that focuses on what are the different websites and tools that students should be using, or those websites and books that students should be using. And those websites and those books, PDF of those books are also available on my Instagram handle, and the link in bio, you can just go from search out and study resources, right? Apart from that, let's say you do a topic, let's say you do consumer surplus or producer surplus, or let's say market structures, or maybe market failure, or maybe utility theory. So whatever topics that you're doing, you are also supposed to do its past papers. Now what we do in our courses is that we have provided model answers for like every topic, like 6 to 7 model answers for each and every topic, and those model answers basically guide students on how to attempt answers, how to conclude, how to start. And when the student is going through 6-7 model answers for the same topic, and when they read through it, they actually learn it, and then they know that what are the main things that are supposed to be written in every answer. It makes a lot easier for them. So that's what we do. We make the job easier for the kids, right? That's what they're paying us for, right? So again, past papers, doing past papers, getting feedbacks, knowing where your mistakes are, learning in the right manner is all you need to do in order to score well. And again, like I said, studying from one resource is not enough now. It used to be enough, but after 2023, when the syllabus and the examination, everything has been changed, it is not enough anymore. So if your cousin or your friend did their A levels in 2020 or 2019 or 2021 or 2022, and they said that we studied from here and we ended up with an A or an A star, and so those strategies and those material might not be applicable for you guys who's appearing in 2024 or 2025 and subsequent years, right? And so what it follows is that you need to have the right material. Now what we do in our classes is that, for example, if a student is studying from us, then they don't need to go and study from different books, because that's the job that we do for them, right? Because the content that we usually, or I provide in my classes, has been thoroughly researched. It has been thoroughly studied from different books, from different sources. and that is why I say that my videos are very or significantly detailed. And usually the students give this feedback to us that when they have watched my videos, although my videos could be very overwhelming because they could exceed up to like 1 hour or something, but after that video, students usually feel that they really enjoy it and they sort of grasp that concept in such a way that they don't need to sort of look for any other sources to write answers. Because when we are making videos in our classes, our objective is to sort of put information in a video in such a manner that they could just simply use this information and apply it in the past paper. So like I know that what sort of questions are coming from the past papers with respect to that particular video. So the entire video is framed in such a manner, keeping, I factor in all those things, right? So guys, course content, different sources, past papers. Apart from that, you must also know what assessment objectives are, and I have a playlist in economics in my All I Need to Know on YouTube. You need to go to that and check that playlist out, where I've guided how to, what assessment objectives are, how to write answers. Also check out my video on last minute tips. I made that video last year because that is very important on basically the do's and don'ts. A lot of times you've seen that when students are drawing tiny diagrams, I always tell my students, please respect the diagram. Make a proper diagram, make a big diagram. The diagram should be labeled properly, it should have a proper heading, and the diagram should not look like a loner in the answer. If you draw the diagram, don't assume that the examiner know what you're trying to say to the examiner. I mean, you need to explain the diagram as well. Like the above diagram says that, the below diagram says that, diagram A says that. What is the diagram telling us? You need to explain that. And that diagram should be neat, clean, properly labeled. It should be eye-catching, as in you don't need to color it, but just make it with a proper scale and a pencil. There's no need to make the diagram with a pen, just make it with a proper scale and a pencil, and it should be neat. It should be a big diagram. When I say big, I mean relatively big, not small. That's what I mean, right? You don't need to make giant size diagrams. In relative terms, I'm talking about. And there are a lot of other strategies as well, so that I will be, posting on my channel. But apart from that, this video was mostly focused on if for the next 5 months, 4 to 5 months, you study properly. If you haven't been doing well in your midterms, you still have time. So guys, now listen to this very carefully. Hear this out again, that for the next 4 to 5 months, if you put your head down and you study properly, right, under proper guidance, see, guidance is very important, under proper guidance, then you will definitely end up with an A or an A star. And just because you ended up with a C or maybe a B or a much lower grade in your midterms, then that shouldn't be disappointing you, although it should be a cause of concern and you should be concerned about it. But if I were to give you some hope, do we still have hope? Yes, we still have hope, but you will not have enough time if you waste 2 to 3 more months. If you start today, right now, after this video, then you can definitely nail your exams and your mocks as well in the next 3 to 4 to 5 months, right? And on that note, I will also be ending the video here. But before I end the video, I want to tell you that our crash courses are starting for A levels. You can join my macroeconomics crash course for AS and A2. We've already covered microeconomics up till December with lots of past paper solutions and model answers given for both AS and A2, and with lots of detailed videos as well. So if you join my macro crash course, you can also purchase the micro content that includes all the videos given, all the past papers done, all the guidance provided. You can sort of sign up for that as well, and you can purchase that content as well, apart from joining my macro crash course as well. Just to end, guys, you still have hope. We've got you covered, and that's all about it. If you have any other sort of questions, you can post them in the comment, and I'll love to answer them. So see you all, guys. I wish you all the best and take care. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.